Paula, I last spoke to you on Near FM in December, and in that interview, you were calling on the Department of Education to issue a circular saying that the alcohol industry funded Drinkaware body should not be allowed to deliver programs in Irish schools. You have, from your point of view, great news on this situation, don't you? Can you tell our listeners
We
more
do.
about this story?
Actually, it's quite interesting because the last day I spoke to you, we were just coming, out of our press conference with Professor Tom Baber, who's a global international expert on these issues. It made news headlines across the country. We had been talking to the Department of Health. We'd been talking to the HSE. But the day after I last spoke to you, the HSE and the Department of Education jointly issued a circular to every school in the country to say, do not use Drinkaware materials, do not use Drinkaware training programs in your school, and do not allow teachers from your school attend the teacher training provided by an alcohol industry funded charity. So, that was a really good news day. I suppose in an activism, you have to celebrate all of your victories. Our network were really proud of the work that they had done over, long periods, but particularly, a very active campaign towards the end of last year. But we're not done. We're definitely not finished. All of this happened in the context of our I-CAAN initiative, which is an initiative around supporting communities that are free from alcohol industry influence. So, it's a great thing that the government has been really clear for the very first time, and it has gone as far as naming what the alcohol industry funded charities are in this country. They specifically named Drinkaware. That had never happened before in any circular issued by the Department of Health or the Department of Education. So we welcome that. That's a really good thing, and we thank our colleagues that are working in the HSE, the Department of Education, the Department of Health on schools-based education. That's a really important thing. So, the HSE are actively involved in, health and wellbeing sort of training and that agenda in schools in Ireland. They do have the Know the Score training, which is a senior cycle programme around alcohol and drug prevention. And they do have some wellbeing hours now for junior cycle, but they're looking at developing a programme at junior cycle. That's great, because that means we're going to have, independent, evidence-based stuff that works in our schools. But education is only one part of a much bigger picture. And in fact, it's not one of, considered to be one of the most effective things you can do. So this relates directly to the debates that are going on at the moment around sale of alcohol bill, because that, sale and supply of alcohol and how we regulate it and how we ensure that young people don't have access to it, we know that that is a much stronger way to protect children from the harm from alcohol than just education in our schools alone. So there's a long way to go on, protecting children from alcohol harm. We know delaying the age of consumption, and all of those things are really important. But December was great. We went off on our holidays, quite proud of our achievements and quite proud of the collaboration and the support that we've had, both in Ireland and in fact, globally, actually. Globally, we have had congratulations from right across the globe on this, groups in Africa and Estonia. And in Australia, we're in touch to say, this is a fabulous achievement. How do we do it? How do we ensure that our children in our schools are protected? So, we're sharing our learning and we're saying, do what you know. Be persistent. Be very clear about what it is that you want. And be very clear that governments have, a responsibility to protect children. And one way they can do that is by ensuring that education is free from the corporate influence of the alcohol industry. But, we're going to continue in 2023 promoting I-CAAN, hoping that more organisations will sign up to it, adopt it, and become part of the movement that's just across communities and that's about values and principles that says our health is more important than the profit margins of the alcohol industry. Essentially, that's what that movement's about. And, anyone who is listening who would like to find out more about it, who would like a presentation, who'd like to have a conversation, they can contact me directly, Darren. And I mean, I'm happy to have our details, our contact details and email and stuff shared with anyone. So that's really sort of the December story, the next instalment.